Okay.
Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of our Sunken Hearts or Sunken Hearts. We're playing around with the names for this for the Hearts of Yokai, which we've been doing. Last time we had a party, and people interacted in that party, and there's still those issues have been dealt with. Some entanglements were closed that may be open. We'll be figuring out where those go. And we're moving forward. So let's check in. Lily, remind us of what your entanglements are, and
Okay.
are you happy with those, or do you think maybe you're going to want to not like maybe not right now, but maybe think about changing either of them?
So, I have the whole thing of I rejected Cymbalina Pilchard, and now they've come down hard on me and Eldo. And um, I need to do something with that because I think Eldo is taking all the heat from Cymbalina Pilchard. And so yes, I think that I do want to keep this in and get up in her business because she's up in mine.
Okay.
And then the other one is I promised tomorrow I would aid them in getting with Nameless, but in doing so, I've fallen in love with Morrow.
Okay.
Um,
And
so
now we have
that's
that
change.
Mara has changed their romantic entanglement, so perhaps you want to at least put a pin in that. Does
Yeah.
that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get an advance last time?
No,
Okay.
I got a few points towards the next advance.
Okay.
So
All right. Mara, let's come to you. You are
Yes.
you are what's your general entanglement again?
My general, oh, I'm sorry, I'm down there putting my new moves in.
Oh,
Um, my general entanglement is my friend Abyssinian Max hates Lily Spice Flute, but refuses to tell me why. I'm going to keep it. And I need to find a romantic entanglement.
okay.
Um, but do we have the entanglements on here?
Do we have an entanglement? Let's
We
see.
I didn't find them in our
Yes. I just have
relay.
it hidden. I've now opened it up,
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
you can see it there now.
All right, cool. And I'll go and look and find one of those here soon enough. I have no real idea for romantic for
Okay.
Baron right now.
Well,
I
certainly we
really
can
don't.
can work to that.
we could introduce someone fabulous.
Now, I recall, did you get a sinking move last time?
I got two sinking moves last
Two
time
sinking
because I
moves
have
last.
cracks,
Okay.
cracks in the surface, and
Okay.
that does mean, and I wanted to ask about this.
Yes.
It means that my repute has dropped,
Yes.
so I'm under suspicion.
Yep.
Is What are the means of fixing that sort of thing, or is it unfixable?
So you can fix it. You can restore your repute, and this is under the situational moves.
Okay.
At the very bottom, it has you can restore your repute in
Ah,
a couple of ways. You can spend a string on a fellow yokai, one of your fellow taken. Uh, do something very publicly, kind of charitable actions or things, and public service meeting for the court. Or if you are at mistrust, you could spend an advance and kind of narratively say how you go back up.
does advance 2 levels? Do I have to spend two
No,
advances?
what it means is
Oh, it
actually it
does
goes
two
goes
levels
up,
up.
goes 2 levels up. Yeah,
Okay.
need to clarify that. Let me highlight that for myself.
Okay. Um, and I don't mind being, playing with the
Right.
suspicious right now at all.
Let's
But
talk about that for a second though.
mhm,
So bad repute comes from sinking, and we can imagine it comes in the aftermath. And the idea here is sinking is when you fall into bad habits, you fall into taker behavior, you alienate others, and that's part of what creates it. And it can be unconscious. So what do you think happens over the next couple of days once that sinking has taken you that that causes this problem?
um, because I'm trying to think of what Barrow would be like to do this, because he's a fairly nice enough guy.
Yeah.
But I could see it being very possessive as a thought. That seems a taker-like tendency. But I don't know if that's broad enough to make a lot of people notice it, because I'd probably be more possessive of my own group.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something along the lines of greed.
What do you think is the behavior that Morrow would most be bothered if they fell into it? Like what's the behavior that the Morrow themselves, behavior that they probably had to go through and do on their time in the far lands? What do you think that would be, that if they realized they were doing it would upset them?
It would probably be like being dismissive of people, like treating them as less than.
So what do you think it is over the next couple of days what is the encounter when you suddenly realize that you've been talking to another taken, and they're kind of wide-eyed and at your manner, at your interaction with them?
I think it's probably as they were telling me something. There's, again, very uncharacteristically, just this snapping of, why should I care about that? Why are you always bothering me? It's not like that's important to me, sort of thing. And it's almost a scornful dismissal.
And I think that you'll kind of blink and you'll see Lean and Hungry Mike kind of just go, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you on this. And they'll get up and they'll pick up some things off the table that they had. I should go.
I, and I think I'm caught up in my own confusion too much to stop them to try to apologize. I think I'm too caught.
Yeah, like I think that is the thing, is it's almost like surfacing, like coming up from under the water, that and realizing that you fell into that mode, fell into that behavior. And as much as anything, that the behavior took you, and that it dragged you under, and you're trying now to kind of remember what happened entirely. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Horrible law.
It is. That's what we're working for. You are also drained. You've got a couple of emotions, a couple of those states marked. So we'll have to think about how you want to do that. But drained means that right now, like the easy glamour, the kind of casual magic that you would do, those kinds of things are difficult for you. So
Somewhere in play, need to figure out a way to go and
and
absorb my frequency of glamour or
of emotion,
right?
and so on, trying to harvest. And this is, so there is a harvest move also on the situational move that clears that. The other thing with drained, it's something I don't have marked there, but drained does give you disadvantage on invoke contract. So that's the one thing. Doesn't affect your personal moves or anything like that, but it will do that. All right, so we'll come back and think about that. Do you know what you want to take in terms of your sunken moves?
Yes. Well, at least I know one, and I think I know the other.
Okay.
Let's see. For sure, I'm going to go ahead and take my Sorrow's Tears, which is if you not target sorrow, you may touch them and alter it. Mark sinking and choose 2 from the list. Deepen it, lessen it, bring it to the center, shift its nature, shift its target, remove it for a time. And then I'm kind of splitting between a few things. Because of my move, I can pull from from any of the emotions, so I
Yeah.
have a lot of options.
Yes, you've got a lot of options. There is one that still needs to be fixed. I'm going to come back and look at that. That lawyer one needs to be fixed. I think there's another one, but that's the main one right now.
Okie dokie.
Let's come to Aldo. Aldo, remind us of what your entanglements are.
So I swore to Morrow that I would protect Songbird Rex, but she would be offended if she knew. I might change that one or just like make it more detailed. I don't know.
Okay.
And I saved Ali Dogus, who I desperately love, but Semolina Pilchard took credit, and I think I am going to change that one, but I'm not sure what to yet,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna leave it for
And you
right
had
now.
that interesting interaction with Songbird Rex and
Yeah.
their slash fiction for the community
Yep. Yes.
last time.
Well, and Allie Doge is going kind of full dragon
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's right.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is that is kind of the entanglement I'm thinking about changing it to. Like, I love her, but also she wants to be a dragon, and I'm kind of scared of her.
I like that. Like that.
You're just a little coyote. So cute.
Mr. Suit, you are also
Hello.
drained.
Yes.
So you also need to recover. You changed your general entanglement last time, right?
This time,
This time,
I
okay.
was just looking at it because it was I've discovered Aldo's been hanging out with Curio Vervain and Enemy Witch, which I had discovered, and we talked about it, and Aldo was mostly unbothered. So it was a less traumatic entanglement. So I'm similar, but I'm going with I suspect Curio Vervain is being up to no good, but Aldo, who I usually trust, believes in them.
Okay. So that I think that's a more accurate descriptor of the thing. And are you good with the romantic? Let's talk about the romantic. We kind of have hit it tangentially, but we haven't really hit it head on too much.
Yeah, I'm not entirely happy with it. I just don't know how I want to shift it around.
Yeah, I think we can certainly put a pin in it, and like if there are NPCs that you are attracted to, we can make that relationship messy, very easily. Uh, awesome. Uh, so we take up a couple of days after the party, as we described there. Some time has changed. I think all of you would have noticed maybe Marrow avoiding you, but also being a little bit off. And it would have been easy to put that down to the party and their interaction with Nameless and so on. Let's start with Mr. Suit. Here after the party, you were thanked at the end of the party, and you were given a lovely vehicle.
Yes, what was the car again?
I believe it is like a Dodge Dart. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere,
No,
but
it was not a like or something.
gosh, it was I know it was a couple years old car.
Yeah, I can go find it later.
Yeah, Dodge Stratus, 1996 Dodge Stratus. I have it in my notes.
Nice.
What color is it?
I think I was imagining it as red. It's a
Burgundy. It's
little
burgundy.
too tacky and stand out for Mr. Suit, but also he sort of loves it.
Yeah. It's a relatively decent car. And they've got the registration in your name. After you go down to the DMV and have to stand in line once more, you can get the title changed.
A gift.
A gift. They do that thing where they sell it to you for $1, but you still have to go down to the DMV and, spend a bunch to get the title changed. So yeah, what what is it that you are doing? How are you feeling after the party, after being rewarded, after maybe setting a dragon off? Like, how are you
I'm
feeling?
sort of worried about the dragon thing. That's a particular party faux pas that I have not run across before. It's a new one to watch out for, and I'm not quite sure how to react to that situation. I don't know if I want to find out. Uh, uh, I think he's feeling pretty good. Maybe not in the most healthy way.
Hmm.
Just because it's a little power fantasy. He's on that edge of sinking and sort of drained. So,
Yeah. So what do you think drained feels like to you? Well, and then maybe this might go to even to the question of like, what what emotion do you think it is? You can feed on any, but like, what emotion or emotions are primary to you that you like to feed on, and then what does it feel to kind of be a little drained of power for you?
um, I do think the emotion is in that fear realm.
Hmm.
Um, I think in particular it's fear around having to perform or be correct in public. Like well, no, it's Mobile, Alabama. There's definitely cotillion. So like when it's the season for cotillion, like super nervous teenagers who have been practicing these things that they don't like or are comfortable with for months for this one event and coming out and being judged by their parents and also all of their peers and also all of their peers' parents. Like that's the exact sort of bullseye of the feeling that he's going for. That's not something that happens all year long, so he has to, substitute where possible, but that's sort of the height of it.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit later in the year, but so what what does it feel like when you are drained? Are you deflated? Are you fearful? Are you anxious? What do you think it is? Is it more about emotions running wild or being lessened or something else?
Um, I think it is like uh, a restless anxiety. It's not something that he can put a finger on if he's not paying close attention, but it's that feeling like you've missed an alarm, you've forgotten about an appointment, like someone important is about to walk through the door and explain that you've done it all wrong or you've forgotten the most important thing, and he just can't remember who that is or what he forgot.
And so where do you think you go to to recover, to harvest, given it's not cotillion season?
Hmm. I've I've been drained for a couple of sessions now, so he's been waiting for a particular thing. So I think there is like opening night of a community theater production. He's been waiting for that. He's been sort of like hanging out in the peripheries and watching bits of the rehearsals, but that doesn't really get it exactly.
Okay. But this is opening night, first night. They've made a dreadful mistake and they've decided to try and do noises off, uh, which is way overcomplicated for them. It was because like one of the friends of the director had a lumber yard, and so they thought they could build the stage right, and they got materials easy, but like when they turn the stage, it there's this moment where they it looks like the thing's gonna go over. Um, so let's have you roll uh and tell us you're trying to harvest fear. So
So is that what I roll with?
Yeah. Unless you want to roll with something else, because you do get to choose here.
I gotcha. No, I like that. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
Um,
Now, uh, do you have the that roller that you gave us?
uh, yes, I just added it a little bit ago, but
Oh,
on the lines of Veils, I put an alt roller
thank
line
you.
on there.
You are a good human being.
So going to do that and add two, and then something will happen.
That is an 11.
Wow,
So
yes.
that is excellent. Um, what what is it? What do we see? How do we know that this is feeding you?
Um, I was it's too early, and it's not the sort of person to have like a phone that's distracting him. But I think he gets there early for the performance. He's one of the first people in the audience, and is watching the rest of the audience fill in. But his head just keeps like flicking to one side or the other, and he keeps half standing up like someone has asked to get by him, even though there's no one trying to get by him. But as the performance is going, and the like, there's like you know tricks with the stage floor and like traps and things with the whole thing turning around that keep like catching, or someone comes within like half a step of falling down a hole that didn't close up, or there's like the sound of something, the stage groaning to a halt when it should be moving, and then just a snap of something, and then it moves like too fast. And as that's going, Suit is more and more rapt. He stops like noticing any distractions. In his mind, there's like a spotlight on him and on the stage, and that's all that's in this world. Tyler and I watched an amazing community performance of Sweeney Todd where the stage literally almost killed five of the actors.
Oh
Just
no!
everything there's so many trapdoors and weird things in that show, and it just went awful, and it was the most engrossing show I've ever seen. You're like, I'm pretty sure one of these people is gonna die.
One of the trapdoors got stuck open. They had to work around it for a
Oh
while.
no!
Yes.
God Almighty! Oh, holy cow!
Yeah.
So yeah, you can clear that drained. Um, I think there is that like that coming out of the hot theater out into the cool air, and maybe you kind of walk around to like the side door where you see some of the community theater people, and they're like shivering. They're trying to come down off of that experience, and even that is delicious.
It's amazing. Yeah, no, I think he's just as he's coming out of the show, and after he sort of basks in that's the side stage door for a few minutes, he is like mingling with the crowd, because everyone just has this sort of like energized sense of like, oh my god, thank god that was hilarious and not tragic.
Yes.
That sort of like energy release.
Excellent. Let's come to Aldo. Um, that was kind of a weird party on a couple of levels. You did meet some
Yeah, yeah.
people. There were some weird things that went on. What do we think we see you doing in the next couple of days?
Um, Well, for one thing, I actually do read that zine.
Okay.
Um, and I think it is educational and intensely embarrassing. Um, um,
I think
because
one of the other things you will realize as you are reading this, and you mean obviously you know which part of that the APA is theirs, but that clearly some of the other writers have enjoyed what's been presented so far and have started to write their own
oh no, fanfic of fanfic.
spin-off and alt bits to it that are in later sections.
Yeah, I think kind of like yeah, I don't really think of Mr. Suit that way, and I don't think he thinks me that way, but I don't know, that's kind of like I don't know whether to be flattered or intrigued or repelled or embarrassed. I don't know. Too many constant reactions to this all at once.
Yeah, so you will definitely go to do you go to Songbird to give your critique or do
uh
you hold off on that?
I think would I or not? Uh no, I think I am too embarrassed to talk about it. And
Okay.
I hope that she never brings it up again. And she
Okay.
totally will the next time I see her.
100%.
But I don't see I don't think I approach her like to talk about this thing that I like am not sure that I'm capable of making those words.
Hmm. That seems fair. Uh, so who do we see you with? Do we see you with Curia? Do we see you with someone else? What are
uh
you up to?
let me see here. We have stuff to do. I have a list of things I wanted to do, and I don't know where it is. Um, trying to remember what my last interaction with Curio was like, which what I think I learned something useful from her, but I don't remember what.
I
Um,
believe there was the one where she told you that other group, the group you're looking for, had stolen some things from the coven,
right.
effectively.
Yes. Uh, and there are still goblins hanging, well, maybe, lurking around. Um,
There was that house that you.
yeah. I think I go back to that house and like see if the goblins have been back and try to figure out what they're up to. If so, I probably like I stake out that house
Okay.
basically.
I think well, let's have you roll me let's do this as kind of a variation of a study roll here.
Okay.
What do you want to roll that stakeout with?
Um, I think anger. I think that I do not trust these goblins, but even more like they're in my territory, you know. Uh
Absolutely. Let's have you roll.
see if I can remember how to do this. Okay, 2d6.
And that gives you a
9.
9. So I think that you will arrive and find that they have been there in the intervening time, and they have clearly seen your mark. Um, and they have grabbed things out of the damp of the basement, and clearly uh, uh, headed off. The thing that strikes you, I think, is you're used to goblins kind of being a little disorganized.
Uh-huh.
This, like, they are clannish. They have families. They kind of stick together. They have cliques and things like that.
Right.
But they're not often like orderly or organized. The thing that bothers you is how organized they are about this. Like, they grab the stuff and they also put things back kind of in place to make it less apparent that they have been there.
Okay.
And it feels very odd to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they're sneaky in some ways, but usually not in that way.
Yeah. And they normally would leave a mess, and they have
Right.
not.
Right. Well, yeah, like if they were done here, they wouldn't care enough to put things back in order.
Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah. Um
There is definitely still that feeling. This is an entree point to
right.
the undertow.
Yeah. There's probably more I could figure out about that. I think I would like to enter the undertow.
Okay.
Or like is not the word. Right. I think I will enter the undertow. I do not expect to enjoy it.
Absolutely. What is the water here that you enter into? Is it the clogged drain? Is it the laundry sink? Is it something else? Is it the damp on the wall?
Um, I think there's like a pool of water in the corner that never goes away because this is not a place where it makes any sense to build a basement.
Right.
Like it just floods all the time. And I think that like you can see the lines where the water has risen and sunk, and there's like stalactites coming from the concrete,
You can
but
read the
there's always
history
water.
of Yankees moving down here and having built a basement because all houses have basements,
Right.
and only afterwards realizing their folly.
They built a swimming pool.
Yeah. So what do you want to roll into the undertow with?
I think this has to be fear. I think anything involving the undertow is probably fear.
Okay.
Uh, 7.
7. So you get to pick. You get to, if it was someplace you wanted to go, you would arrive there. If you're trying to escape something, if you wanted to learn something about the world, or if if there was something particular you wanted to find. So what is it that you want from that hit?
So I don't know if this is a thing that I could learn from this because it's a but I want to know how Ali Jojas can be a dragon again.
Let's look at that 10, the costs here. What do you want to pick for your side of the cost?
Uh don't know what I would lose that's important. I think marking a mood would make the most sense, probably.
Okay. And let's also have you mark sinking.
Okay.
I think one of the things that you will realize as you are kind of moving through the waters here is like, especially in this sort of half area here, how much more kind of freedom you have to move. It's the water. Again, the water buoys you up. It is dangerous, and there are those pulls and things. But I think you'll realize that dragons don't belong in the real world, that you need to find or carve or make some kind of shoal or space or beach in the undertow, like that's the only way that they could become a dragon safely.
Okay.
It's safer for them, and it's safer for everyone else.
Okay.
Um, uh, because the world itself will whiplash back
Okay.
against them. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think you end up? Do you end up back in the real world? Do you end up back someplace in the undertow? Still, where do we end that scene?
Um, I don't really have a preference.
Then I think we do see another one of these, like the undertow is water and there are hard places that are in it. I think we see you kind of climb up onto what is effectively like a coral that has grown up out. It's
Okay.
sharp and
Cool.
hard, but
Mhm.
you are uh, a wilding. You're kind of a little more used to this kind of thing, and I think it is looking off in one direction towards there's no north southeast, but you can tell, you can kind of see the outlines of the real world,
Okay.
um, like being offshore and seeing the lights of the shoreline. But I think you look the other direction where it gets darker and you can kind of see
Mhm.
that the ocean kind of almost curls up a little bit like in Interstellar, where you see that wall of water
Okay.
on the one planet, but you also see the lights of the far realms
Mhm.
of the castles and places that are there in the far distance. Let's come to Marrow.
I suppose I am going to attempt to clear my terrain.
And
I also realized that I think I was reading the character keeper a little wrong. The check next to a mood is to show you've taken it up with XP. Is that correct? And the marking it out in red is to show that it is used, correct?
you can do it whichever way you're happy with doing that.
Okay, because I've taken up calm, but I am marked in sorrow.
Yeah, I always forget that there are two different things on that. That may be a thing I need to fix on a keeper later. Um, uh, but in fact, yeah, I think actually I should do that. So what is it that you try to feed on?
I'm I'm going somewhere I feel is familiar. I'm going to have picked up the newspaper and have read down to see if I see when a funeral is occurring. And preferably someone who, I don't know, has some age to them, so hopefully there's a family there. Or I did love it with a teacher. Teachers always have lots of people sad when they're dying.
Okay.
Um, but I'm looking for a funeral.
All right. And for you, you who have no flesh, you who are just not even bone, but a portion of bone, what does it feel like to you when you are drained?
I think it's a little raw. It's, when like the wind is blowing, or if you have like a tooth that's gotten sensitive, the wind blows on it, and
Uh-huh.
there's almost like an electric amount to that. I think that's the feeling all over. And with the drain, it's, I can't reach out to the things which have become really something I'm used to. I'm very much a playing with the powers arcane sort
Mhm.
of person, and that seems distant.
So, what do you want to roll that harvest with?
Well, I can't roll sorrow,
That's
sadly.
true.
So I think it's going to be power. I think that in my kind of sunken state, there's a little bit of that feeling of I'm taking from these people.
I think that's fair.
So here we go. Let's hope it's a good roll. It's a 7-8.
That is a 7-8. So you will be able to clear that drained. But I think that there is a bit where it ends up being one of those large funerals with an extended group of people, and you get dragged in to, like, there's a gathering afterwards, and students and things like that, and uh there's people talking about this person and discussing it, and I think there's a weird moment of synchronicity that actually really kind of freaks you out. And I want you to choose one of your moods to mark. When you realize that this funeral that you're at, this gathering of people and things, that this is the woman that Aldo found their house and found them being dead, taken out. They were dead. They had died in their house. This older woman. And the chances are so remote that I think it is really bothersome to you. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and people kind of not wanting to talk about the fact that she was kind of a hoarder, and that they had abandoned her. And you kind of know, like, a little bit more than you'd like to know. And I think that and being trapped in that party, then that gathering afterwards, with big metal trays of vodka penne, and coleslaw and things there. Uh, Lots of pecan pies people have bought. And
Think since I've already marked sorrow, I'll mark joy as kind of that opposite. Oops, wrong thing. As that sort of opposite feel that goes with, there is no joy to be found here.
that seems fair. I think that seems absolutely fair. Lily, let us come to you. What are you up to?
Fine question. Let's see here. Well, I do remember that I was very much on the hunt for a mini uh blowtorch,
Okay.
and that I was going to learn how to cook all things that required blowtorches. Because if someone must specialize in a cuisine, it should be the most amazing cuisine. And I think that is blowtorch cuisine. Yes. So that is what I think that I probably would be intent on.
So
So-
essentially, you are searching out a restaurant supply store, as was suggested to you.
Yes, I think take Mike with me, right? We said we were going to drive out by the airport, but
Sure.
not go to the Cracker Barrel because it was the worst one.
Right. I think that the thing is, and this happens a couple of days afterwards, is Mike is very, very quiet during the ride. They usually talk quite a bit, but something is clearly off with them on the ride.
I think that we're driving and we go, I see a Cracker Barrel. I go, is that the bad Cracker Barrel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I turn into the parking lot.
What are you doing?
And I sort of stop and I go, why are you so quiet?
I would like you to roll conflict here.
Conflict?
Yes, you're trying to
Hmm.
get something out of them.
Okay. Let's see here. So what would this be? This would, I want them to be happy. I want them to be, I want them to be the Mike I know.
Okay,
Does that make any sense? So it's
absolutely.
either joy or it's sorrow. I don't know. Let's see here. It's probably sorrow. I'm probably concerned because it's not my Mike. Does that make any sense?
Right.
All right. So I'm rolling, adding a +1. As soon as I find the roller. Okay, here, I found a roller. And I'm going to try it. I know that there's one. Okay, here we go. And I can roll again. So I'm rolling again. It says it's forbidden for me to do that. I must have to refresh it.
Forbidden. It is the forbidden dice.
I don't understand
Lambada,
why.
the forbidden dice.
Did we open a different one?
No, we have
No?
the
Okay, now I'm going to try again then. See if it'll let me re-roll. Roll again. Now it did it. 6 + 1 is a 7.
Seven.
So squeaked into average.
Okay. So what you get 2 picks from that list.
Cool. Basic move, conflict. Uh,
And
I
you can pick
think-
one and then pick the other if you want.
okay. Well, let's see here. Okay, so I think I choose that I get what I want from them, which
Okay.
is an answer. And then this is a hard one because I'm trying to conflict for good.
Want to avoid any kind of cost on this?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I do.
Yeah. So I think there is a bit, and Mike kind of sits and goes, it's very hard for me because my nature is to fade, but uh, at the party, I kind of interacted with people, and I thought maybe I ought to make more of it, not more of an effort, because I make a lot of effort. I do a lot of stuff, and I make a lot of effort, but I thought maybe I wasn't making the right effort, and maybe I should make put my efforts in the right place. So I went to talk to someone from the Court of Lanterns,
Oh,
and
they should understand, right?
and and they kind of told me to fuck off. Not like they didn't exactly say that, but they said, why, asked why was I bringing my problems to them, and why it was kind of yeah, it was really bad.
Rotten.
I think they just must have been going through a lot, and I didn't think about that before I went to talk to them.
All right. So maybe that's true. But they better come around and apologize at some point too.
No, I don't think I would want to make them do that. No, I don't think so.
I want to make them do that.
I don't know that the why don't we go to a better Cracker Barrel?
Oh, we weren't going to go to this Cracker Barrel. This was just a threat.
It was an effective one.
I don't- That's right. I'm a genius.
All they've got in the candy thing is the Whorehound, and I hate Whorehound.
This place is just pure evil.
I know.
We'll peel out of the parking lot.
Does that feel like a scene for you?
Sure.
Okay. Let's take our first break. Let's take 10, and then we will come back, okay? I think this might be a good time for us to bring the group together for maybe like a family meal. Does that seem reasonable? Like a few days later. What is the
Everything needs a blowtorch.
So what have you fixed that requires the blowtorch then?
Well, I needed something that has marshmallows on top, so I think I went with sweet potato casserole.
Okay.
Definitely. And then I think, let's see here, it's
Like a
something that
ham with a pineapple on it, so you like torch the
Oh,
pineapple.
that's a good idea. Yes, because because pineapple is delightful anyway.
Yeah.
There is that thing that a lot of things, if you want to blowtorch them, you probably should have sugar. So they're very sweet, like sweet sauces everywhere.
You are in the South. So
Yeah,
yes.
there you go. It is probably already set that way. There's probably something with mandarin oranges that, I also set aflame. So, and then candles, because it's very fun to set the candles and see if I can actually do it without, blowing the wick off of the top of it.
Excellent. So yeah, you're sitting around, a few days after the party. I don't think people have really talked about the party that much.
Really?
I think maybe you'll be a little bit surprised that you all haven't really discussed it since then.
So
Well, I mean, Aldo is not surprised that he hasn't talked about it.
but I go, so what did you think of the party?
You did a wonderful job. It was I think they liked it very much.
Thank you.
Are we done with the arson portion of the evening?
Unless you have something you would like me to set aflame.
Remind me, have you ever tried, you have some hairspray?
Well, of course I have hairspray.
And a lighter? Because you can make a much, like, you could go.
Why would I need a lighter if I have a blowtorch?
No, I can show you how to make like a a flamethrower with it.
Oh. All right. But we were going to talk about the party, and then we
Right,
can do
yes,
a flamethrower
party.
because I really like that too.
I really like the charred pineapples.
Did you? We can make those like, well, you can ask for it for your birthday if you want. So, when is your birthday?
My birthday's my birthday's in September. What's the cruelest month? August. August is the
August.
cruelest. It's in August.
Well, that's a long ways from now. We should probably have like a quarter of the way to your birthday and then halfway to your birthday pineapple celebration because I don't want to wait that long. How about you, Mr. Suit? What is your birthday?
So we're not talking about the party then?
Oh no, we're going to talk about the party. I mean, birthdays are party adjacent, right?
Well, but not this party.
No, it's
It wasn't
fabulous, and
your
we'll come
birthday.
back
That
around
wasn't
to.
why we were doing it, right?
Oh well, I mean, it's one of my birthdays, but that's like most days, like 1 in 3 almost days. I don't want over my birthdays.
What, 1 in 3 days?
Oh, maybe 1 in 4 days. I mean, because there's a lot of days where I have multiple birthdays on that day.
So 60, 70 days a year?
That sounds about right.
Oh, I
Are
see.
they all? Wait, you're only born on one of them, though.
No, but no, I have all of those birthdays.
There's that great song in Alice in Wonderland. A very merry birthday to you.
Oh,
To
and
me.
see, yeah, that's still a lot of days
That would
too.
be
So
2
I
out of
could have
3.
a lot of unbirthdays, like almost 305. So yes. So she goes,
When
yes, I've had people who are born on all different days. One of them was today.
did you say you have lots of people?
Mhm.
And I don't think we've ever I think that this is a surprise to me. I don't know if I've ever heard you say something like that. Do you think that's something that
She probably would have assumed you knew. Like that someone would have told you.
what do you mean?
And she sort of stops. She goes, well, I was made in the forge from all the other versions that came before.
So there's like lots of people in that you're lots of people.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't think I didn't know that.
Yeah, essentially, supposed to be perfect. So when someone wasn't perfect, then he got replaced. But new person, but you hold all the other ones so that you knew what they knew.
I
I
Uh-huh.
remember
can't
being all of
access
those
that
people.
as much as before, but still, I know them. I know most of their names. I can hear them. We talk a lot.
Do you feel more like the last you?
Um, yes, mostly, but I try not to be bossy. But yes,
They bossy?
yeah, I don't want. Well, I mean, I say, like at any given time, I feel a lot of ways about a lot of things. But I personally like the more, I don't know, positive spin. So I choose to act on that.
In a way, we're kind of opposites. You're You're lots and lots of things put into one, and I'm one thing stripped and stripped and stripped of all the parts.
You don't feel that way to me at all. How about you, Mr. Suit? Does he feel that way to you? He doesn't seem stripped to me. How about you, Aldo? I have to
No.
ask.
No,
See?
no, Mara just seems like a person to me. Not that I would know, because I mean, I'm not inside his head.
How do you deal with the scheduling conflicts?
You see, if I do a lot of different things.
It's fair. I'm wondering if you have two different memorials or anniversaries or remembrance celebrations. How do you prioritize one over the other?
You know, the most recent ones are louder, so I usually hear them, and then the ones further away bubble up.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
No, it's good. It's an easy decision-making process. Maybe not the most fair to everyone, but it saves on a lot of confusion. I can see that.
Also, I know a lot of different names. So if anyone has a baby, I have suggestions.
All of you like each other?
Gosh, no.
Oh. Well, I guess that a lot of people are kind of like that, even just when they're alone.
Yeah, I mean, but most of us are practical.
That's good.
Because the strange thing was is that I was the only one that when I heard that if I wasn't perfect, that I would get replaced. Because when I heard that, I just left. And no one else had. I don't think it occurred to them.
I think it was the right decision.
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't remember a lot of the trip back.
No. Anything's
It's
better than
rarely
being
ever
there.
And it's rarely ever just leaving.
When you say that, it sounds more ominous than what I hold in my head.
Thank you.
I think I'm starting to understand you, Mr. Suit. But this isn't about me. I was at, so your birthday is, we have a wait, so we're going to have pineapple a few times
I-
before then so we can practice up. Get it perfect for your birthday. Mr. Suit, what would you like blowtorched for your birthday?
I have to say, I like the char and patterning and careful heat work, but I've always been particularly fond of those strange flashy dishes where you burn off an unnecessarily large amount of alcohol all at once.
Oh, yes, I have to practice up on those.
A flambe!
Yes,
Exactly.
it makes a nice spectacle. The sort of larger the better. It's that ooh sort of feel from everyone.
I had to be careful though. I was practicing and I was wearing one of my vintage dresses from the 60s and it sort of like lit up. So that was a narrow escape for me. But yes, I will practice that. And I will wear good sensible cotton when I do it.
The restaurant I work at, they'll do a bananas Foster that you do that with.
Really? Can
It
you
goes,
get their recipe?
oh, the chef's pretty mean, but I bet you there's a book.
Ooh, okay. Bananas Foster. Okay, I'm writing it down. And Eldo, what can I char for you?
I mean, anything with marshmallow on it is only good charred.
Marshmallows were made for a blowtorch.
Yes. You don't have to wait for a campfire. You can just use a blowtorch.
Can I ask what has brought this this fondness for pyro into your culinary experiences?
Oh, Mike and I were talking and just mentioned that you could get a cool, like a little blowtorch like this. And so I was on it. It's my new thing.
I think I hurt Mike's feelings.
What?
I was feeling out of sorts, and I said something mean to him, and I wish I hadn't, but at the time he was just really boring me.
Which Mike?
Lean and hungry Mike. He has a trouble with
Doesn't ring a
baby.
bell.
Yeah. And she sort of stops and she goes, so you know how it's hard to not notice you, Mr. Suit. I almost called you doctor because like so much respect. Dr. Suit's hilarious. But she sort of says, it's hard to ignore you. Just like the opposite. It's super easy to ignore Mike. Has to fight to not be ignored.
I've been trying a new brand of pocket square.
It's working for you.
Thank you.
But
You're gonna flame something for a birthday suit.
yeah, but maybe not. Wait,
But that's I think this is an activity that takes several layers of protective. That's not
That's
that sort
very
of party.
yeah, very sensible. And she sort of steps and she goes, but if you see Mike, could you, I don't know, apologize?
Yeah, I felt like I should, but I don't see him very often.
Probably hiding from you.
Probably. Like I say, I was just wasn't feeling myself. But
You-
your party, it went really, really well.
It did, but it wasn't my party. So it was a party that I helped with.
I like to think of it as your party.
I had a good time. Did you have a good time?
It was a very nice party.
All right. I am, what should we say, not the most observant person I've been told, but I think that you are being evasive.
It clarified a lot of things in my mind. And I think Doe got the party that they deserved.
I was kind of mean to her at the end.
Then they really got the party they deserved.
Mr. Suit, I have a question for you here in sort of mid-conversation. Have you told others about your car and or explained why you were given a car?
I haven't explained why. I do think I've shown it off some.
Okay.
I mean, it's a flashy stress.
Yeah. 96, only 4 years old.
I know.
And I'd
Practically
probably
brand new.
I'd probably mention the Baron in connection with it, you know.
Does he like you? Was probably my question.
I've tried my best to make a strong impression, yes.
Oh, very clever. Good on you.
Thank you. It's honestly, I was just.
So could you drop me off at school today?
What?
Yeah, that would be my follow-up. So there you go.
It's, I don't have anything in my schedule that I can think of.
Now you can go and get our groceries.
Can
Yes. And we can buy more at the
Yeah.
same time.
It's a
What?
pain in the ass hauling, like 2 bags on the bus or walking. It's a lot faster if you have a car.
What an
Always scared of
unexpected
things
turn of
flying out of the
events.
sidecar.
Oh, we'll all go with you. Don't worry.
Will you? This is turning into a whole
It
excursion.
sounds like fun, doesn't it? I can't wait.
It got a cassette player. I have so many cassettes that we could listen to while we're driving.
It
Good
it
point.
does. This oh.
I think that's very much us making plans for his car. So
Okay.
there you go. I love it.
Anything else anyone wants to share with the table, the family, before we move on? Okay. Then let's come back to Mr. Suit. You successfully brought hell down on a taker, got a car for it. What's your next step
Great,
here?
unexpected, but great.
Yep.
I think I'd probably find Marrow after the grand grocery store excursion.
Okay.
I don't know. Where would Marrow want to meet?
Well,
He
it
wouldn't
could
just
either-
find you. He would contact you and set up an
Oh,
appointment, and
Of course, yes. Well, are you wanting it to be somewhere outside of our home, or are we to meet somewhere in our homes?
well, new place or it's public, somewhere nice.
All right. I'll suggest the park.
Make arrangements for that after getting back from the Food Max, which is the chain that was there in Alabama in the 90s.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yeah, he'll be there. He's wearing sensible loafers, tweed.
Well, it is cold. Yeah. I've got my hoodie, and I have got a little bag of popcorn to feed to whatever bird is out and about.
Mm.
Thank you for the invitation, Mr. Suit. It was very formal.
Oh, well, thank you for coming. I realize it was short notice. I do like to give several more weeks for plans to settle, but
Yeah, I hardly had time to take the groceries in. Something on your mind?
it's still these 4.
Ah,
It's just from what we've seen, they were relatively minor. figures in the court, not nobodies, but just people. But,
Picked up a bad reputation.
wow, that's easy to do when everybody lives inside of everyone else's business. And it may not have been unearned. I mean, it's this ritual, though. It's the pieces of it that they gathered. Destruction of a whole unreal village, the heart of a keeper, a storm turned out of its path.
Seems like big magic.
Feels like something like that should leave traces.
Well, I mean, it's possible that the storm was their means of cleaning away the traces.
It's an extreme after plan.
None of this seems small play. I would guess that the hands by now may have made their move. We could see if there's anything left at the junkyard. There's
Yes.
also other means I could employ to find out more. Lily doesn't want me to, but
The hands were thorough in their work. If you have some other path to follow. They've mostly seemed good at reactionary work. If they know anything about what's going on, I don't think they're going to tell us at this point, but I doubt any of them have any idea.
I think whatever they did at the junkyard will have messed up any clues we could find there.
I suppose it depends on how physical they were with things.
Might be worth a look. For my means, I I would appreciate help when I do it, but honestly, I probably need to wait a little bit. I've got a duel that I still have to do, and I probably shouldn't overextend myself until I see if I get killed.
That is true. It's a very important social engagement. Have you thought about what you're going to wear?
Well, I was thinking a black hoodie and my black jeans and my combat boots.
And had you considered any other outfits?
I don't really have a lot of other outfits. I have my gray hoodie.
It's, and when you're saying hoodie, you mean the shapeless ones with the zipper and the strange tassels?
Yeah, like this. Yeah. I mean, I, I, they're not exactly shapeless.
No, no. They have armholes.
I mean, suit. I'm not as flashy a dresser as you.
Well, no, but this is a duel, so potentially it could be your last chance to make a good impression on people, so you might want to try a little harder.
Can I borrow something?
Of course you can. I think I have something that would fit you quite well.
I think it's going to be fisticuffs. That's what I sort of stated as our weapon. I figured that he'd really have to want to kill me to beat me to death.
Well, it's lucky that you favor towards darker colors. If there's a chance of extra blood or horrible injuries, it'll hide it well.
I really hope I don't have to kill him.
Well, in an ideal world, you'll show up looking wonderful and memorable, make a couple of official statements, and then stand back and do nothing.
Right. Wisdom says that they're going to be there, and really then that's the important thing, is Wisdom's going to show up. I'm just there kind of as a backup. You know Wisdom better than I do. I mean, I could trust them, right?
Wisdom. I don't know exactly where she's coming from with this, but this is a situation where two important people that you'll be standing quite close to have promised to kill each other.
I'm depending on Wisdom showing up. And I think you see, like, my eyes kind of go hard, and you see something a bit different than you've seen from me. Because if they don't, and I do live through this, I will get even with them. And then it
Good.
just sort of flashes away. Um, but between now and then, if you want to go to the junkyard, I bet Aldo and Lillian be willing to go, especially for another ride in your car. The sound system was quite good.
No more musicals, but clothes are at least a worthier.
Dead Can Dance isn't a musical; it's a vibe.
It also wasn't, I would say, strictly speaking, music. But going for clothes is a much worthier purpose.
All right. That seem good to you, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems good. Let's come to Aldo. Aldo.
Was that by chance either of us hitting a support move, comfort and support move?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
if you want to call that move, that seems fine. Let's start with Marrow. What do you want to roll that support with?
Let's see. My choices are somewhat limited. I think I'm gonna go with calm. I was certainly projecting calm through that.
Okay.
All right. Yay, that's a 10.
So on a 10,
Nice.
they can clear a mood or take +1 forward.
And I get to clear one too.
Yes, you can clear a mood yourself, ask them a question, they have to answer, or you can gain a bond with them.
What are you going to do, Patrick? Let me think a minute. I really need to clear my sorrow.
I don't think I have any moods marked.
I'm clearing sorrow.
You are going to find one heck of a bargain when you go shopping.
Should I roll as well?
Yeah, we're doing it kind of both directions there, so let's see how that goes.
I think this is probably power. I think is how I was approaching this. 9.
So in that case, on a hit, they clear a marked mood or take +1 forward.
I think I'm going to take that +1 forward since I'm apparently going to be better dressed for the duel, so
Yeah.
I'm going to stick a +1 forward on my duel down there. I'll write that in.
Nice.
Aldo.
I think.
I'll just pause. I don't know how many of you remember how dumb and big that stupid Enigma Gregorian chant song was for that year. Like,
Yes, I remember.
so
Loved
dumb.
it. Oh, I love that album.
That was in 1990. I
Yeah.
thought it was way later than that.
hmm
Maybe it was like a
Mia
later
culpa.
one.
That's what it was called.
So Aldo, what are you up to?
I think I want to pester Lydia.
Okay. So where do you want to track Lydia down? At school, in their apartment, somewhere else?
Oh, I think
Just after dinner?
yeah,
In the
probably just
aisles
after
of
dinner,
Food Max?
actually. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Actually, yes.
Lydia wants to go grocery shopping for things that she can burn with her blowtorch.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that that we get things that aren't necessarily from the blowtorch butter. They're like
you work on the rest of the menu.
I mean,
Okay, that's
blowtorch.
fine. So
Much as
boring,
I
but
like blowtorches,
necessary. I understand.
I don't usually cook with them.
It's been sort of what do you say? Having something to focus on has made it all more interesting. It's like sort of handicapping yourself, but in doing that, you you can see a straight line to your goal, and it involves flames. It's great.
I get that. I used to, I used to go camping a lot, and cooking over flames was fun. And it wasn't that it was particularly good. It was that it was, yeah, flames are cool.
They really are, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, except, well, they're also sort of why I ended up being taken. So not necessarily completely cool, but controlled flames, good. You you remember like all of the people you've been?
Mhm, mhm.
Like you remember
That's
being
the
them?
way to say that. No, I think it's more that I'm me, but
Mhm.
sometimes one of them wells up in me. Does that make any sense?
So they're like different people?
Yes. Oh, they absolutely are different people.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huh.
Yeah,
Just
they
I
were other ones who were supposed to be perfect.
so they just like mashed them all together until they came up with you. Huh.
So there was one, she was very good, but she wasn't perfect. So second try. And then she was inside of the other one, but she still wasn't perfect. It was supposed to be an improvement. A little bit of progress each lifetime.
Kind of makes sense, I guess. Like you, except that you don't know what all of them know all at once.
Right.
That seems like
Let's
a
put it
hard way
this
to do
way.
it.
I'm having a lot of reactions all the time to things that I'm not always sure why.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
get
good.
that.
Well, maybe you have some other people inside of you.
I'm I think I'm just me, but I've also had a lot of lives, except I think they were all just me. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm a different person now. Maybe all of those previous people died. But I don't think I'm more than one person.
Okay. So did they smash them together or was it a serial thing? Did they have a start over? Did
I
no.
start over. Like I was one person and then I was taken, and then I mean they I was in like a game farm. We were all hunted. And I mean, coyotes aren't that fun to hunt, I guess. So I mean, I got hunted a lot less than like say Allie. Dragons are a lot more interesting, but um, I still I still got killed a lot. And then I came back every time, but I mean, obviously not with the same body because they hauled the body away, and uh, I don't know if I'm the same person. And then I came back to the world, to this world, and gave got a different body.
It's
Decided
like
not to be the same person. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm the same person or not.
huh,
But I still remember everything from the other. So maybe I am.
do
Or
you
maybe all those
remember
people died.
before you died the first time?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Were you from
Um
here?
uh I I grew up like an hour from here, from right where we're standing.
Oh, we should drive out there to where you grew up.
Uh yeah, I mean when I saw Mr. Suit had a car, that did occur to me.
Hmm,
Except nobody would recognize me, so you know.
maybe.
But it would be interesting to see. I do want to see.
She sort of stopped. I would want to see too. I don't know where I was from. That's what I
Really?
lost on the walk back.
Wow. I Oh, I know exactly where. I saw my sister a couple months ago.
What? You saw a family member?
Yeah. Uh, I think she works at your school.
What's her name?
Uh, Tammy,
Tammy.
Tammy Underwood.
Wait, Miss Underwood?
I don't know. I guess
Miss
pretty common
Underwood.
name.
Yeah, she's the counselor there. She's super nice. She knows
That's
all
good.
about, yeah, she's like really good with kids. Like when they start crying and stuff, a lot of times they ask if they can go see Miss Underwood. I suspect she has a candy jar somewhere.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad.
But well, I could leave a note or something, um, or I
No,
could
no, no.
ask her questions, or I could take her picture.
That wouldn't help.
Okay, if you think of something that would help, I mean, you don't
I
know her
don't
that well.
know
I'm a
if, I
substitute.
mean,
I'm just a
she thinks I
recurring.
died 20 years ago. She's had lots of time to get over it, and I don't know that it would actually help to her. I don't know if that would be a good thing if she knew I didn't. But I am glad to know that she's okay.
I mean, she seems like she's okay. I'll check.
If you have a chance,
Yeah.
could you ask her how her parents are?
Okay. Do you remember the name of one of your neighbors?
I mean, there's Becky
Becky?
and Tom.
Think about it. Gonna need a last name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
I mean, what? I don't. Why do you need their names?
If I'm gonna ask about her parents, I would have to know someone in the. Oh, or I guess I could ask her about her parents and say that, yeah, something about mine. Can't remember my parents either. But I'm here. I'm alive. I paid some prices.
I mean, in a way, all of the other people that were combined to make you are your parents, right?
Now I'll have to have a chat with them about that whenever
You have like 60 parents.
you parents. Kinda. Yeah, maybe. I should show them more respect.
Wait, did they hear you say that?
I'm sure they did. One of them will hold me to it anyway.
That feels like scene.
Hmm?
Did either you feel like that was a comfort and support?
Was it something?
It was
I don't
two
know. Did you
people who
find
talk around
you have
things
60
talking
parents
around
comforting you?
things with each
Yeah,
other in that way.
yeah, that may just be more hitting entanglements and
Yeah.
things than anything else there.
Yes. So you did.
Marrow.
Yeah. Hmm. I I am a little torn.
Sure.
I part of me is thinking we could do like a little group of us, the group of us, for my bit going to the junkyard and looking it over. Folks feel like doing that. We
I
talked
would love
about
to.
it.
Yeah.
Seems like a good moment to do it. So yeah, I'll suggest, since Sue brought it up, an excursion.
Mr. Soup, what's your reaction to that? You are muted.
That would probably help some. Yes, I definitely don't want to be. I don't want him to go alone. I want to be there.
So it will drive the Dodge Stratus during the day up to that junkyard. Park, get out. It's definitely a different feeling to the place. That warding that you felt before is gone. But also definitely the ghosts that were there are gone. And it's also clear, I think, since it's now been a couple of days, that like people have noticed the junkyard where before maybe they weren't noticing it around the area. So there's definitely like things are kind of picked up around the mailbox. And you'll see that there is like an inspection notice from the city that is posted up there, like clearly posted yesterday, tagged on to this. Clearly someone noticed it and finally called the city, and the city checked their records and discovered there's no property taxes paid on this place. And it does look uh, like there is evidence that the chain on the front has been cut, and then a new chain and lock put in place, which suggests to you that they probably had the cops out. But how subtle do you want to be about getting inside?
I don't think Suit would be very subtle at all. He'd park in sort of the same, just like right in front of it place they had
Okay.
before, and confidently walk up to it.
Okay. What do you do about the lock?
Less
Oh,
confident with that
Lowell,
one.
I probably have an ability. If there's any move that's for breaking a lock or getting past a lock, I can just take that. One of my memories.
Certainly do that. It could do it with an invoke contract. Either
Yep.
one is good. Let's see.
Just convinced for a second you were going to pull out a blowtorch.
Oh, that's the other way I could do it too. It would be kind of slow with the small culinary blowtorch, but I could do it. I am but the court of sons.
Let me see if I can find if there's one that would be. I don't see one that's a lock thing right this instant.
Yes, I know that there's things about like breaking things and stuff like that, but it's just a matter of finding them.
There are sunken moves about breaking things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's have you do basically just a simple
Oh,
overcome
here it
roll.
is. Elemental forces.
Okay.
Okay.
Borrow
So
that one.
essentially, I can call upon my element, my blowtorch fire,
Okay.
and I can break it
Okay.
or harp it or block it or
Sure.
conceal it.
So go ahead and make that roll.
Okay. So I'm probably doing this with joy because it's sun for all practical purposes. So only I could find this dice. Oh, here it is. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna roll again. Let's see if it will let me do it. Roll again, and I'm adding 2. Oh, so it's a 12.
So you get
Nice.
three hold.
3 hold to break, harm, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
What do I do with that? Okay.
So basically you can do it in a way that no one sees anything out of the ordinary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Subtle and quick.
So very much any outside observer, it looks like you had a key, and drop it, and you all can go into the junkyard.
I am now marking that move that I
Okay.
can't use that again.
Okay.
So
Marrow, you kind
That
of
was just a normal culinary warehouse supply store that you went to.
I think so. I didn't say there was anything special about it.
Just looking back at bits of dripping molten lock on the ground.
This feels to me like Marrow, you kind of called the scene, and you have a +1 forward. So maybe we want to have you do that study roll.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right, and I think I'm using. Gee. Let's go with power.
Okay.
+2. That's an 8.
There's an 8. So you can ask a question or you can reveal a detail.
Let's ask a question.
Okay.
Where was their hangout? Where was their little clubhouse?
So yeah, well, this will be context to frame up things, and then you can ask questions. So I think you will find that there is a sort of a central junkyard building there with garages and things that when you go inside seems to be more orderly and like with different living spaces around in it. And this is definitely where they lived, very much at the heart of this junkyard. There was a kind of an outbuilding towards the gate, but this is sort of the main thing. So what is it that you want to learn here?
I think I'm looking for hidden details. Do I find anything in here that shows like what their plans were or where they went?
I think the thing that will strike you is whatever they were doing, like ritually or whatever, has to be somewhere else because this place is so kind of cleared out. And you do find a space that, given how sort of blackened it is, probably is where that taker was kind of held. But everything around here feels to you like a group of people who were planning something big and cleared everything from here, all traces on both a kind of a mundane and a magical level. It and I think you can tell, like, not just covering from like other taken, but like to clear so the witches can't find anything else, that whole scale. It feels bizarrely like magical bleach
They
in
just
some way.
scrubbed their whole joint.
Yeah. And it speaks to you of a deliberation and planning that must have gone into this. Does
I'll
that feel
convey,
like fair information?
yeah. Um, and they did this before this taker gets trapped here. I may not know that. I may not know that.
Well, how about this? Let's actually let me give this as the sort of the tag on to that question. I think the thing you realize is they must have scrubbed it, gotten ready, did whatever they were going to do regarding the taker, trapping and taking their heart, and then bugged out of here.
Okay. So I'll convey that to everyone. This was the trap site, and they were planning to come back. They cleaned this place. I mean, all the way down. None of their presence. There's not even any of their feel here.
I didn't want to be trapped. They're really dangerous. Because they did this on purpose.
Certainly determined. And scared of people not just following them, but digging into them, learning anything.
And not just afraid of other take. All the forces.
Wiring a taker's heart. That's whatever they planned must have been enormous.
Well, at the very least, they disappeared.
They altered how the storm moved, which probably happened after they had captured it, removed the heart of the taker. I think I said to you, Mr. Suit, that maybe the storm was meant to wash away the traces of them. I don't know if the storm was like an end goal as much as a part of the getting away. That's just purely a guess.
Maybe. I'm
Was just a
certainly more convinced of their paranoia than I was earlier.
if the storm was just a secondary tool, I'd hate to see the real thing they were doing.
Can you acquire people who know better what you could use a taker's heart for?
Do we know anyone who knows? Would they talk to us about it?
Not
I mean-
on this side of the water line.
Yeah.
Well, I will ask around just in case there is someone, okay? We don't have to go right to doom and gloom. I know that it's all your favorite places, but there may be someone out there who can help us.
We're already dressed for it.
For what?
Doom and also gloom.
Not
Or
radiant.
other
I
darkly
look
colored
radiant
things.
in orange. So,
I'll look at Alto. Doom, gloom?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty doomy about this, but
I'll take gloom.
I think as you all are kind of coming out of this, uh, towards the sort of pathway back to the Dodge Stratus, you hear footsteps, somebody coming this way.
awesome.
And you will see a guy in a suit, kind of square jawed, good looking guy, maybe mid 30s, kind of walking along. He sees you, kind of arches an eyebrow.
I do the same thing right back to him.
Looks at you. You're an odd crew, but his instinct is to turn to Mr. Suit because Mr. Suit looks like the adult here, as they say. Oh, hey, are you the owners?
No, we were just checking in for a crew that had done a cleanup in the area.
Oh, it's still active. My understanding was that it wasn't active.
And there was apparently some sort of
industrial accident.
leak. Something broke out of where it had been holed up.
Oh, so you're taking on a job to do a clean up of the place, or you've already done I don't quite follow.
Oh, we're just checking in to make sure that the team that did the cleaning was as thorough as they needed to be.
Oh, who are you with? And he'll reach into his pocket and he will pull out a business card holder, very nice, and he'll pull that out uh, and he'll kind of hold it forward towards you, kind of in that gesture that says, and you'll give me your card, of course, as well.
But Mr. Suit has a card.
I do have a
Of
card.
course.
It always magically says what the person expects it to say.
I don't know if it's go that far, but I will hand it over and say, "Oh, we're with the city."
Oh, okay. Excellent. So, and his card says Aaron Roke, in investment consultant, real estate developer. So is the city taking charge of the property?
I can get you in touch with the correct parties. What? How did you hear about the site?
I have, in my years here in the city, developed a network of people who inform me when places kind of pop up on the market. And I got a very weird call about this place.
Interesting.
Can I use my observant move? He seems slightly more than nobody.
Sure.
You have a first encounter with someone politically important.
Yeah. Why don't you make a roll?
Or magically important, unfortunately.
Magically delicious.
Because
Sorry.
that's my sense of what we got here.
I think I'm gonna go with anger. He's not angry, but he is still very much basking in the other side of having released his anger here.
Sure.
On that, do a thing. 8.
8.
See, on a hit, you know a dangerous secret about them or their.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the immortals.
That's what I thought that's what I thought.
And what did his card say again?
It says investment consultant and real estate developer.
The long game.
So I take it you represent interested parties in the city as well.
Well, I'm an interested party. This is an area that has been developing, not great, but mid-tier at least. And this is a large chunk of land. Has value in that way. I
So
hoped it would have more historical value, but that seems to have been wiped away.
Historical. So you know something about the history of this area.
Just in general. But everything's been so overbuilt that you can't really restore from that.
While they're
well,
talking, I would like to study him.
Sure.
Move that maybe, I don't know, probably not useful, but interesting.
Do you have a particular move that?
It's a when you study, so it's still a study move.
Okay.
And
What do you want to roll that with?
that is a good question. weirdly, I think it's power.
Okay, that seems fair. So you've got
9.
one hold.
Or no, not 9-7, but either way.
One
One
hold,
hold. But I also have a hold, or I also have one I can ask without a hold.
okay.
So
Do you want to ask another question beforehand, or do you
yeah,
want to
I'll
ask?
ask the other question first.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. More review of detail. I guess the obvious. What does he really want with this place?
It was a place that suddenly appeared on the radar that was hidden from him, and it suddenly appeared. And he can tell of the various lingering bits that there was something big here, and now it's gone, and there's something very strange going on.
And 100% understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would also like to ask, what is his greatest sorrow?
That he didn't murder Curia Vermain.
Okay. Okay. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I know you are on you and your crew are on the clock, so don't let me stop you, Mr.
Suit.
Do you have a card, Mr. Suit?
Of course. Hand it back to him.
And what does your card say? Independent contractor, something like that.
It is on very nice, like handmade press thick cardstock with bright actual gold embossing on it, and I think it says Mr. Suit, not entertainment expert, but entertainment advisor.
See him look at the card, and he goes, "This is very nice. Where'd you have this done?"
Oh, well, I mean,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
personal connection.
Oh, fair enough.
Everyone
Fair enough.
knew,
I do have a follow-up question, though.
of course.
It says here, entertainment. Uh, what exactly is it you do for the city?
I look after some of the larger events.
Mm-hmm. I see. Which is why you're here with a cleanup crew.
Well, we want to make sure that certain venues are ready from all angles to host.
He's trying not to laugh.
We appreciate that.
Well,
You
Mr.
wouldn't
Suit,
want an eyesore in the background of things. It would ruin the whole mood.
well, that's interesting. I'm always interested to see what other parties are at play in these things. I should probably let you go, shouldn't I?
I'm sure you have very important business to be attending to.
Yes. Well, I'll see myself out. And he'll turn on his heel and he will walk away. No sense of fear or worry when he turns his back to you.
Or car or where he came from?
You see him head out. He passes by. You see him eye the Dodge Stratus, and he gets in a very nice car.
Nicer than
And
the
his
Stratus.
driver drives it away.
His driver drives it away.
Yes.
He's got the horrible tinted windows that you can't see in on, just maybe a little bit of a silhouette.
Seemed nice.
Did he?
Well, for a rich guy.
Maybe next time we should say we're scouting for a film crew. I saw that in a movie once. People get all excited about it and they let you do whatever they want. Maybe that's our cover story from now.
Oh.
It also really helps if you have a clipboard and an orange vest.
Oh,
You don't
Working
even
for
have
the
to have a
city,
story.
yeah.
I probably should have worn more sensible shoes too. Oh well.
I thought you did very well, Mr. Sue.
I mean, he was also lying, so he wasn't going to call you on it.
He was? He's not a real estate guy?
He said investment, but no.
I mean, kind of. I think he really was interested in the property, but I mean, he might be a real estate guy, sure.
But he's someone powerful, right?
Oh yeah.
He was someone important.
He had a chauffeur.
He was trying to find out more about our interest, but I don't think it was directed at us. He didn't feel like he cared enough for it to be about us specifically.
No, I think he was just curious about why this place suddenly wasn't hidden anymore.
Am I missing something?
I think you know something, right? Although, is that what you're saying?
I- no, I mean, I just said what I know. That's he's this place is suddenly available and he was coming to check it out. Like not available like on the market, available as in like he could perceive it, I guess, or note it. Like it was kind of
So he's a mage.
camouflaged before and now it's not. That's he
Which of
I
you
guess,
found out
yeah.
he was an immortal? That's you, Patrick?
That's Mr. Suit.
Oh, Mr. Suit.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Suit.
Suit hasn't told us that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you dropping
Sorry.
that info on us?
Sorry, I sort of thought it was Aldo.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that's what I
Trying
thought.
to remember there.
That's okay.
I think he's another one of the five.
Great.
Oh,
They're all up in this. This is going to get much more difficult.
I've never met one of them. I think he's the one
Congratulations.
Let's see. So
think
we've
he's
got
the one that's missing? Probably not, because we saw him.
Yeah, he seemed to be seen by a number of other people. But all of them, they feel like they own all of this. So, someplace
been
hidden,
told-
something tied up in a different power for that long.
So curiosity is what brought him here.
Agitation, a little both.
Well, that's not too surprising, and honestly, this place is so scrubbed, he'd really have to be something special to get much out of it.
I don't think that was the biggest thing that he learned today now.
You mean us?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you for the clarification. I was kind of wondering. Okay.
Huh.
So are we gonna hang around here? Doesn't look like there's
It's any
much more to
point.
find. Yeah. I
Hmm.
just am worried that, like, some mages will show up next.
I mean, we could stay around for the next shark to come investigate.
Let's not.
Okay.
So I want to do a scene. We have one more call for Vancia, so I'm actually gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna put that on the shelf for the start of next time, if it's okay, Katja.
I'm not Katja or Vancia, but
Oh,
I apologize.
yeah, you've got your
Yeah, I
die
got my
character.
wrong names and you're just being horrible to me. So
No,
I've never had them stay over. I'm sorry. It didn't even occur to me.
yeah.
I thought it was just one of the many within.
It could be. That's it.
that's what Lydia's going by this week. It's
Lydia,
fine.
Lily.
You know, if you didn't want the GM to be terrible to you, you really shouldn't have left your die names up.
Exactly.
So Mr. Suit, Lily, Aldo, Marrow, do you take the others with you to the duel?
I certainly will let them know, and they can come if they'd like. I could
Okay.
use. I mean, it's probably going to be interesting. I'm sure that that Wisdom will put up a good fight.
I don't understand. So Wisdom was supposed to be here and do the duel, then why are you here?
I'm the second.
Okay.
I arrange things, and I'm there in case there's some sort of problem and that sort of stuff.
And if there's a problem, what happens?
Well, I mean, I help smooth things over. I give an opportunity for, this to be solved. And I mean, in the off chance Wisdom doesn't show up, then I think I have to fight.
So, in essence, we need to go find Wisdom and escort them here.
Bad idea.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
So, Mr. Suit, are you the second?
No, not in any way, informal or formal.
Okay. So I think that if you need a second, then it should be
I
me
was
because I'm
told
more of a
that-
hothead.
Yeah, I was told that I can't have a second. I even asked about that.
Well, then you
And
can
if-
have a third,
If you're the
right?
second and you have to become the person in the duel, then you need a second. Like then you're not a second anymore.
Maybe there's some logic to that.
Right.
So arrangements were made for a park at a particular time and place. And I'm going to assume that
Where can we find Wisdom? I say to Mr. Suit and Morrow.
I think for purposes of the drama here, I think that there will be a hunt around for Wisdom, but they will not be anywhere communicado prior to the duel.
Sure, they'll be here.
And I think that we see the four of you kind of waiting there at a park table, kind of waiting around. And I think it hits that appointed hour. And you will see Wisdom coming down the path. Not particularly enthusiastically, but coming down the path, and will arrive, and you can see that they have gloves on, and you suspect that they probably are enchanted gloves.
Smart idea.
And so they are there, and they look at you, Marrow.
I've negotiated. They have asked for the book back. Could you have refused? I'm ready to stand beside you in this duel.
And I think you'll see the park has like a little creek running through it, with a little walkover. And I think you'll see that goblin in the duster with the cowboy hat come walking out from underneath the bridge, and he will walk up to where all of you are. And he will look dead on at Wisdom and say, "So you showed up." She will nod, will look at Marrow. He will say, "The duel is off."
Your principal has decided to drop the claim?
No, no. Someone murdered my principal.
Oh.
And that's what we'll take up next time.
Bum, bum, bum.
That is what we'll take up next time. If that sounds okay with everybody.
Oh,
Justice for the
yes.
principal, the goblin principal.
Let's check in on XP situational things here. Mark sinking, Marrow.
Yes.
Just keep marking sinking all the time.
I mark sinking at the end of every session.
You get like too much sinking and then you gone.
Yeah.
No, people, well, potentially, but
Yes.
people will really, really dislike me at first. But I've got to work on it some.
Lily, did you express your self as a taken?
I think so. When I talked about all of myselfs.
Absolutely. And do you think you expressed your humanity as well?
I think my concern for Mike was pretty human. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
That
and
seems
my
fair.
love of the blowtorch, I think
Okay.
that seems incredibly understandable as a human being.
And I like your new romantic entanglement there.
Yes, do you
So,
think that that's appropriate?
so share that with everybody.
So I redid my romantic entanglement. So it says I have fallen in love with Morrow, but he has hurt my dear friend Lean and Hungry Mike. So
Who?
So 3 points. Marrow, did we see your taken self?
I think we definitely did a couple of times there. Yeah.
And where do we think we saw some of your humanity as well?
I think so. I think in that kind of funeral scene and being brought into that, strangely enough, in the feeding process, I was brought very much to my human back to the human world.
I think that's fair. So point for that. Do you think we hit on any of your entanglements?
I don't think so. I've got to get
Okay.
that romantic in, and we
Think
didn't do
about
anything
that.
with Max.
We will worry about like putting some options. If there are particular, if you want new kinds of NPCs to be considering, if you want, I don't know if you want Marrow to be more tied into a changeling NPC, or we get more other non-taken NPCs in there. We'll talk about that. Aldo, humanity.
Yeah, I think like asking about hey, can you find out more about my parents
Yes.
without telling anyone I'm alive?
And definitely your taken nature in that trip by yourself through the undertow. Um, and I think that we hit a little bit on your Songbird Rex entanglement as well. So let's give you 3. Humanity, Mr. Suit?
I don't think so this time.
Yeah, a little bit more, but definitely we touched on yourself. as
Yeah.
a take-in.
I don't know. We bamboozled you into driving us all over the place. I
Oh
do
my
think
God!
that is
Actually,
the
driving
most
the group to the
Actually,
the
grocery
yeah.
store,
most
Yeah.
caught up in a friend group
being
being
proud of
taken
this
advantage of it.
new boon from our Baron, and immediately having to like drive people to doctor's appointments and shit.
The first roommate to get a car.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got to
yeah,
get to the
no,
clinic, you know.
I agree with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
So 2
That's the
points.
most college age thing I can think of.
Did we hit on your entanglement's arrival?
No, not quite.
Okay.
I liked Curia being tied into this weirdness, and I definitely want to follow up more of that.
Okay. Okay. Stars and wishes. Lily.
Oh, let's see here. I super enjoyed Mr. Suit's trip to the play. That was bizarre and kind of like vampiric in the strangest possible way. It's super cinematic. I mean, like I could see the scene with the spotlight on him and the spotlight on the theater. That was like good, so good. Um, I My heart broke for Eldo like 92 times in the game. You just had the pathos like flowing tonight. You know, it was just really, really good. The stuff with going out into the shallows and trying to figure out a place for Allie and asking about your sister and me being confusing about it. It was just really good. Like that kind of thing of having those things you're worrying about, but you're not articulating, but you're trying to articulate. And yeah, it was good, good stuff. And Morrow, my beloved problem child. I just loved that when you were explaining it um to Lily and you said, but he was so boring. And she's like, that thing strikes to her heart, you know. It was just perfect. It was perfect timing, perfect little heartbreak right there for the scene. I just thought it was really great. So good, so good. And Lil, I just love the sort of mix of scenes that you let us have. We called a bunch of stuff that you managed to sew together with the pieces that you put out there for us. It was really, really lovely. So those are my stars. Wishes. I I think I want to find that sort of, how do you say, how I want to engage Semolina. I'm not saying that I'm going into exactly revenge because I haven't anything to be vengeful for. I just want to punish her. So there you go. Because she has been unkind to
Okay.
Eldo and myself.
Punish
And
unkindness.
strange around Allie, who I don't understand at all. So there you go.
Okay. Marrow.
Big stars tonight. A couple of different things really stand out. I loved the dinner scene. I thought all the things with the torch was phenomenal. But also I thought it was really kind of neat to see how we interact. We're an odd crew, but there was real affection in our conversation. And even even if we are odd, we did seem friendly. And kind of when we put on Mr. Suit of the things that we needed him to do, it wasn't like he at any point was, no, I'm not doing that. It was that sort of exasperated acceptance. But there was never a point where he wasn't going to do it. And I think that, in all of that interaction, you saw these people really do care about each other. We really do consider ourselves our own little family. And I thought that was very sweet. Lowell, I love the twist of Wisdom showing up. I mean, the other person dying is phenomenal, but Wisdom showing up really kind of surprised me. Because I'm sitting there, I got that new Sunken move that I get to trigger if I get betrayed, and I'm like, I was waiting.
Yeah, I actually rolled the fate die
Oh,
on that one. I will admit.
really?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I can't choose. So
I thought it was phenomenal that they showed up. It surprised me and was very exciting. I also liked the real menace of the immortal when they showed up. You could feel it, and I really approve of how, or want to kind of star out Aldo and Suit taking a bit of the lead in investigating. Suit doing a really good job of talking to this guy, even if probably not the most believable story, but keeping cool, and Aldo really digging in to find out stuff. So I thought that all around this felt really good for us as a group. And
agreed.
I like seeing when we're all in sync and doing things together. I think that's really cool. Wishes. I like kind of playing. I tried to bring up in that talk with Mr. Suit a little bit of what the Seeking's doing to me. I wouldn't mind kind of showing us something again, but I do want to start working towards seeing what it takes to work that off. Just so we can see that process happening, because Lord knows we're going to see me sink a bunch.
So you can't recover sinking levels, but you can, there are ways to clear your sinking track up a little bit. So you can kind of start to offset that.
The reputation, I suppose. My sinking track itself is something I really can't play with, is it?
The actual track itself, there are some ways to get the ticks off, but you can only take 4 sinking moves.
Oh.
When you take the 5th one, you're done.
I'm done.
Yeah. There's a little bit. It's actually I think it's a little bit more than that, but there is a limit to how many sinking moves you can take before you become like a taker.
Okay, because that's going to happen relatively quickly.
Yeah, is that off of number of moves or like number of times you've done a sinking advance? Because he gets the double moves when he advances.
No, I wouldn't do it off of the advances because I didn't want that to. Otherwise that would be a terrible thing. But I've got that. I know I've got that somewhere. I have to look at. Okay.
Yeah, because I know that the reputation comes off of.
Yeah, the reputation. I think this was a thing I left out that was in the earlier version. I think when I rewrote, but it is still there. That there are, you can take a number of X number of sinking like advances, fill-ups, the completions before because that's how Urban Shadows does it. So that's how we're kind of following along that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I'll check and see what they do for number because I think you can do it 4 times and then when you would hit the 5th time, then you're gone, I think is how they do it, if I recall correctly.
Cool.
Yeah. Aldo.
I mean, yeah. Stars to Sherry for that entire conversation in the grocery store while like comparing and actually for the the like smooth reveal of being many people before by being like, oh yeah, I have 60 birthdays. Like I thought it was just a really good like way to get into that discussion that we had not had before. So very cool. And yeah, and Mr. Suits just like smooth, if completely completely implausible lies, but completely like confident, smooth lies. Like, like why would you not believe this? This is
We're just reasonable adults talking about true things.
Yes.
We are.
Like there was absolutely no reason to doubt it whatsoever. and Lowell playing the other side of that. It was enjoyable and also a little creepy to see these two people who were obviously both lying, obviously both knew the other was lying, still having this conversation as if neither was lying. Uh, and and Morrow, I like, Tyler, that you've got this sense of doom hanging over Morrow, in a way that, like, in a way that would be almost irritating, if you weren't doing it so well. Like this is a character. This character is like sad and tragic and has all these terrible things, and like something bad's coming for him, but like he's also a character. Like that isn't his personality, and I really like that. I liked seeing a lot of that this time. It's very cool.
Awesome. Mr. Suit.
I thought this was really neat. I loved meeting one of the Immortals. That was very fun, and an unexpected sort of pop up there, right as we were about to get away clean, and nothing complicated was going to happen at all. Um, Tyler, I just like watching Marrow's like march towards this duel, and his sort of like evolving feelings and acceptance of the different aspects of it. But also exploring what that sinking looks like for Marrow, and what sort of old states and old habits it brings up in him. I thought was really cool. And then Sherry and Ethan, both the discussions of like the endurance, your time having been taken, and just the themes that the both of y'all really explored, but that are through all of four of the characters in a strong way, of like the continuity of self through violations and like injuries to the body, and that sort of state of like separating your identity and sense of self from the physical form, and what it is, and what it is doing to you, and what is being done to it. It's really interesting things to explore, and I loved both of your approaches to it. Of Sherry, just this like fractured mentality of all these people stuffed inside of you, whereas Aldo is almost like this concept that's just put into all these temporary forms, all these things that weren't ever really Aldo, just outfits that he's wearing.
Not
It's really
unlike
cool.
yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's echoing through all of us, and I loved watching it.
Marrow being the mirror in that its bits cleaved away. Yeah.
Yeah, we all four sort of interestingly had different versions of our traumas. This is really good. We didn't do it on purpose either. No claiming.
Which is the dramatic conclusion of it's a murder.
The goblin murder.
Yeah, I want to see more drama at the duel. But yeah, then I'm very much looking forward to digging into some of these outside forces. The five have been poking their head in. We've had a couple of different storylines that are circling around goblins. I want to go check out that witch because she's obviously evil and shit like that.
Awesome. That seems fair. I do want to stars for the scene calling today from you guys. That was really good. Like everybody's scenes, like across the board were great. I really enjoyed those. Both the together ones and the solo ones are really strong. Also, sort of as a wish for myself, now that we've kind of established with Marrow kind of a little bit of what sinking looks like, and even what now with between Marrow and Missouri, what drain looks like, is that's a dimension that I want us to see in some NPCs, in some taken NPCs. What does that going into sinking or being sunken look like from the outside? Like how can you tell? How can you tell when an NPC is drained, things like that? That's a dimension that I want to get onto the table. So I'm making a note for myself on that. So I'm going to stop the recording and then I have some logistics.